Star Wars Theory, you're a doo-doo head, and Star Wars Explained was correct. I am going to sue you. I'm going to deplatform you. In all seriousness though, I am a big fan of Star Wars Theory. I think he makes really good videos, and we share a lot of the same opinions on the current status and health of the Star Wars brand. I agree with a lot of his takes. I don't think that he's like a misogynistic or sexist person like some YouTubers think.
We planned like a Taskmaster party, and you can just roll as many clips as you want. We did
you should have demanded more respect.
I should have. Just in case I get shot in my face.
Yeah, of course.
Yes! Yes!
This is where the fun begins.
Anakin Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker prequels, George Lucas, Anakin Skywalker.
Theory Sabers.
George, Anakin.
Oh my god. Yes!
Hey guys, how you doing? It's currently 2:02 in the morning. The camera died. I'm sorry, we didn't film the rest of it, but we had a blast, we had a good time. I'm now in the room. I just filmed a reaction.
I do believe he makes a lot of logical and fair points in his videos, but I'm also not a meat rider. When Star Wars Theory makes a shit take concerning Andor, I'm locked in, butt cheeks clenched, dick in my hand, ready to defend my show. This video is just him essentially complaining on Andor and the Acolyte show getting more money than the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. And look, we all know that he does not like Andor. He's made it pretty public that he does not like it. And that's fine, that is his opinion. But it's one of his few opinions that differs from mine. In my opinion, Andor is one of the best Star Wars products of all time. Regardless of era, regardless of the media format, whether it's TV show, movie, or video game, this is one of the highest quality products of Star Wars that we've ever gotten. Star Wars Theory would rather watch Anakin and Obi-Wan have sex than watch Andor. We also differ in other opinions as well. He thinks Revenge of the Sith is one of the greatest things ever made, probably thinks it's better than sex. Me personally, I prefer anal. I for one prefer to get pegged by my boyfriend.
To me, that they would spend $645 million on Andor Seasons 1 and 2, but they only spend about $90 million on the most thing on Star Wars show. And
obviously, this is a shitload of money, and it absolutely takes a fat, steamy shit on the budget for the Obi-Wan show, which was only around $90 million.
Total, they spent $645 million? I thought The Acolyte was expensive. A New Hope was made with, I think, 1/10 of this amount. I think it was $28 million. Something like that. Oh, A New Hope cost $11 million. That's crazy. In contrast, Andor's first season was a force to be reckoned with. Its audience score of 87% on review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, which, check this out, never take Rotten Tomatoes for face value. Never, ever, ever, ever.
So when talking about the budget that was allocated to the Andor show for its first 2 seasons, he goes over this weird tangent on why Rotten Tomatoes is a shit platform to base reviews off of. And to a certain degree, he is correct. You shouldn't be basing shit off of Rotten Tomatoes. He is correct in the sense that a lot of the people who make those reviews are kind of shills that are influenced by some money. And the reason why he diverges from the article and talks about Rotten Tomatoes is because he wants to make a point that Andor isn't as good as people say it is. And so it shouldn't be allocated such a large budget. But the truth is, a lot of people actually did enjoy the show. Of course, there were people who believed the show was boring, that it was slow, and to a certain degree, they are correct. It is a very slow-paced show, but I think, in my opinion, that that's what makes it better than most other shows that rush through a lot of the world building, the character building scenes. It's one of the best Star Wars products we've gotten in a very, very long time. So to make this point that Rotten Tomatoes is inaccurate and all this, yes, it is true, but it's weird to make it about Andor. And again, the reason why he's making this point is because he wants to promote the idea that Andor wasn't as good as a lot of people say it was, and that it shouldn't be allocated the budget that it was. He thinks that the majority of that budget should have gone through another show like Obi-Wan. And to his point, he's not necessarily wrong. I do believe that the Obi-Wan show should have gotten more money to work with, but he knows and I know that regardless of the budget, they could have had a $1 billion budget, right? They could have taken every single dollar on the planet Earth and put it into the production of the Obi-Wan show. It still would have been shit. The writing was ass. The plot was dog shit. There's nothing that could have saved it besides a better script, a better story. A bigger budget wouldn't have made it any better. It's not like they poured all this money into Andor and then it turns out that it looks like fucking shit. A lot of the set pieces are very compelling. They fit into the world. I know that he has a problem with like bricks and shit, but to me, it looked phenomenal. And then he also mentions the budget for Star Wars films from the past. Like for example, on the screen, $11 million for A New Hope. And I don't really understand why he talks about this because it doesn't support his point whatsoever. So he shouldn't be complaining about why Andor gets so much money. He should really be complaining about why the Obi-Wan show was given to writers that didn't know what the fuck they were doing. I just don't understand this idea or this like backlash for the current Star Wars TV shows getting a ton of money or any Star Wars project getting a ton of money. Shouldn't you be happy that a Star Wars project is getting this much money? The expectation for Disney is to hire good writers and allocate a lot of money to Star Wars projects. It doesn't have to be just one or the other. And there's a lot of people, and this is not Star Wars theory, that just suck Disney's dick a little bit too much. Like they worry about how much money Disney's getting and oh, hopefully Disney can make profit on, like who gives a fuck, bro? They're $1 billion company. Why do you care so much about the amount of money they have in their pockets? But going back to Star Wars theory, he also questions why Disney puts so much money into these newer projects, right, with newer characters. And I think that Disney is doing this because they want to stray away from relying too much on these, notable characters like Anakin Skywalker, like Han Solo, Obi-Wan. They've proven that they don't know how to write competent stories around these characters. Now, my expectation with Disney is that they should be doing both. They should be able to create good stories around these existing characters like Obi-Wan, like Anakin, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, they should be able to make new stories around new characters that are compelling, that can expand the universe. I understand his frustration with the low budget for Obi-Wan, and again, I agree. They should have had a bigger budget for that show. But regardless, it wouldn't have helped the show be good anyways. And again, that was in the past. That's a show that's already been made, already been reviewed, and already been known is shit. You shouldn't tie down and bring down newer projects that are worth the money, worth the investment, just because they made a mistake in the past. You should absolutely want Disney to invest more and more money into Star Wars. But the most important part is investing into good writers, finding and seeking writers that understand the universe, understand how to make a good story, and understand that it isn't just about them trying to make a certain point or fit a certain agenda or whatever it is, right? But yeah, that's my thoughts. I am still a big fan of Star Wars theory. I don't actually think he's a doo-doo head or like a bad person or something like that. I understand that he's very passionate about Obi-Wan as a character, Anakin as a character, and like all of us, he wanted the Obi-Wan show to be better. But shitting on Andor, shitting on its budget isn't really gonna fix anything. Star Wars theory, if you're watching this, I'm gonna touch you inappropriately.